This is kind of interesting. Bleacher Report. Hot seat check for struggling head coaches. Kevin Stefanski. Why the seat is hot. Browns are running out of people to blame for poor product that's on the field every week. Cleveland had its fair share of offensive struggles last season, but that was blamed on Deshaun Watson's injury and Alex Van Pelt. The offseason, they got rid of Van Pelt and signed Ken Dorsey. Whatever their plan was, it's not working. Can't argue with that. How he can get off it. Either Stefanski makes a bold decision to bench Watson and proves that he can win with a cheaper veteran quarterback like Jameis Winston. The other option is Stefanski finally figures out how to help Watson regain his form he once showed in Houston. Hot seat ranking 5 of 10. I think you and I have both been in agreement. I don't think the Watson thing costs Stefanski his job. I don't think it costs Barry his job, and I don't think it should. I do think that when you give both of them an extension, the expectation is, okay, you've got us from whatever we were at to mediocre. Now it's your job to get us from mediocre to consistent playoff contender. And right now you're 0 for 1 because this is not a playoff team. I can say with reasonable certainty this ain't a playoff team.
Certainly not the way they're currently constructed and the way they're going about it. The one thing that I see in that is they're assuming that Kevin Stefanski has the authority to bench Deshaun Watson. I find that very hard to believe. And there's definitely split camps on this. I've heard it from both sides, even from the OBR, of people that believe that this is a Kevin Stefanski decision, to people that believe it's a Jimmy Haslam decision. I just find it hard to believe that a coach that didn't have the authority to decide if a quarterback was healthy enough to even play in the first place or not, all of a sudden has the authority to just bench the quarterback. And I think that if you could give Kevin Stefanski some truth serum, I think he knows there's a better option currently on the team. I just don't think that they're going that way. Now, in the offseason, was there a backstage handshake agreement? Like, hey, man, we're going to give this the biggest runway possible. This season is all about finding out if 4 can do this. And if not, they pivot. But I feel so bad for the other 52 players on the roster if that's the case. Because it's hard for me. They're seeing the same things that you're seeing. They're watching the same film that we're watching, and there are issues all around because this isn't an either or proposition. This isn't it's one player or it's this. There's a ton of bad around.
Right.
But there's one player that I can change right now that allows me to evaluate the other things that are going on, and their failure to do that leads me to believe that this is they're willing to let this play out longer than they should.
Yeah. Well, you have to do. And again, to your point, you either have to change the play caller, you either have to change the quarterback. It's not. Otherwise, you're putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, and there's no anything. If you're not changing the quarterback or the play caller, or the offensive scheme, you're not going deep enough. This is not tweaks. This is drop the engine and rehaul it quickly.
Yeah, they say if you're keeping the same quarterback, then you got to go back to heavy personnel, run 12, and basically stay inside the wheelhouse and keep it simple and just try to get first down. Start small. This offense, we were hoping for explosives. I would settle for first downs at this point, just keeping and playing field position. You can't even do that at this stage, or you go. And you change quarterbacks, and then maybe you can become explosive. Maybe you can get rid of the football, and you can start to evaluate what works and what doesn't work, because right now nothing is working.